show you some pictures, okay? That is the passage tomb at Dowth. And you know, you drive along the road, they are dotted all over the countryside in Ireland. And you wouldn't know unless you knew. You know, it's like the crop circle thing. You're driving along and suddenly you see this thing. And for me, I can feel the vibration of it. So something happens, and I know that I'm in the presence. I can feel energy. Not all the time, but sometimes. So somebody told me in passing, this is what happened on my journey. I went to Newgrange, and then I went to Dowth. And if you look at my video about the general overall journey, you'll see pictures there. It's a slideshow. And it's just, there are no words to describe it. It's like going to the Great Pyramids or any monolithic tomb, anything from the ancient days. And these are actually older. And what I've learned since is they are aligned with the pyramids. So if you have any interest in that stuff, Google the Boyne Valley, the passage tombs in the Boyne Valley, alignment with the sacred pyramids. And there is now an archaeological train of study about the people who built these passage tombs, traveling to Egypt, going back and forth, and building the pyramids. And apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently when the pyramids were excavated and opened and exploration began, the people in those tombs had red hair. So that blew my mind. So there's all kinds of stuff that I'm learning. So I was, chatting up the local folks, and somebody said to me, well, have you been to Dowth? And I said, not only have I not been there, I haven't heard of it. Tell me. And so they told me about this fantastic tomb that is literally in a farmer's field. So you drive up the road, I put it in my GPS, and I thought, I'm just going to go have a little adventure and see what happens. I brought the cards with me everywhere I went, anytime I went to a sacred site, because I wanted to, channel the energy that I was absorbing into the cards. And what happened was the cards started to vibrate. Literally, there was electricity. I'm calling it, who knows what it was, right? But an electric vibration that was channeling through the cards. And I thought, well, obviously they're speaking. They want to speak. So let me do the readings. I had no intention of doing it that way, but this is what happened. And so it inspired me to start the live stream in order to really be connected to you folks. Hi, everybody. I see more folks are joining. Hi, Jennifer. Mary Love, hi. And Marvella. I'm so glad to have you all here. So a lot of what has come out in these readings is about the changes that have happened for us as individuals and for us as a collective, and what the result is energy pathway wise. And so I understand why I was led to go to these passage tombs. I had no intention of going, only to Newgrange, and I had a whole sacred journey set up for myself. It was all about the feminine sacred sites, trying to get in touch with my roots, in a sense. And it's not at all what happened. And so, I think there's, obviously, that's kind of how my life goes. Things unfold. Spirit has its way with me. And it's true for most of us, right? So we make a plan. We think we're going to go do X. And then something else entirely happened. And so in this moment, I'm really grateful. I'm looking forward to going back as soon as I can to continue this journey and perhaps do some of the sacred journeying that I was intending to do. But clearly this was on the menu. And what I understand now is that this was on the menu because we just came through our own passage, our own portals over the summer. Well, starting back in February when we had those two series of eclipses, and then the companion eclipse season that happened over the summer. So we've been in passage, and there are messages that came from the passage tombs, beautiful, profound messages. And so I decided I was going to bite the bullet and be brave and come home. And I sort of asked permission. Nobody's seen my face, right? Let me transition for a minute. Okay. So, hi, here I am. So, people kept asking me, well, how come we're not seeing you? Why can't we see you? And it's because Spirit said, don't, don't do it. I want the focus to be on the cards. I don't want people to get distracted from the messages that are trying to be sent through. So that was the purpose for that. And now, not only am I released from that, I'm wading into the deep end of the pool, which is kind of my nature, anyways. I'm a Virgo with Aries rising. So I'll just plow ahead. And of course, it has to be perfect. And this is far from perfect. So I'm laughing at myself. And I'm, again, just grateful for your presence and your patience with me, because this is just going to be, it's going to be what it is until I learn, right? So I digress. Let me go back and show you some pictures, okay? So here's Dowth. You get out of your car, you walk through a farmer's field. There's sheep grazing in the field. And in the middle of this field, you see this mound. And it has, all different kinds of vegetation on it. I don't know. Check this one out. Look at this picture. I don't know if you can tell. It's not entirely clear. But there are places on this burial mound where the grass grows in a circle and counterclockwise. How that could happen, one can only imagine, right? It's astounding to me. So, you come, the sheep are there with you, nibbling around on the grass, climbing all over the mound, in the field, and across the way, there is this beautiful old church. And I took some pictures there and put it on the stream, the slideshow. So, one of the things I learned is that in a lot of these ancient places, and, there are a lot of words, we call it pagan. I don't particularly like that word, but nonetheless, when Christianity was attempting to rise across Europe and in these places, one of the things that happened is in all the sacred sites, a church would go up to try to align with the people. And, there's a lot of sort of theology. I don't know what exactly the word is, but what jumps to my mind is sort of the politics of religion. And I just found it really fascinating that the churches have all fallen down, like that one, and these passage tombs that have been standing for over 5,000 years are 100% intact. There's not a shift, there's not a drop of water, nothing has moved them, because whatever it was that those people knew, it was profound. Okay, now I can see that the stream is being interrupted. Let me just look and see what's going on. See if I can figure it out. It says I'm still live. Okay, I think it was buffering. Are you guys, send me a message, will you? Are you seeing everything okay? Okay, you know what? Marie, you're sending me a message about paying for the live stream. All of these October readings are open to the public. I'm not charging for this. Eventually, there will be some live stream come that will be just for subscribers, special topics, maybe some discussion after the monthly videos come out. There'll be a way to have access and ask me questions. So we'll work on that. We'll develop that together. It's part of what I want to do, because those 30-minute videos just don't make it for me. There's so much information that you cannot cram into 30 minutes. And it's a way for me to support myself. And I figure, ask people to pay for an annual subscription. A small amount is $35. If enough people sign up for that, then this will be my full-time living, which I would love. So that's the rationale behind that. So let's see. Carlene, hi. Kay Michelle, Juanita, Suze Pratt, you're here again. You're awesome. Thank you for all of your time. Let me just, give me a second. I'm just going to scroll through the chat. Hey, Marvella, you're in Kansas. Awesome that you're here. All right, let's see. Okay, Mary, you're saying that there are mounds in the U.S., and I'm dying of curiosity to learn more about that. Celtic cross is a fascinating subject, says Susie. Yes, it is. And I learned something about the swastikas. I've got so much to talk about. We'll do it, okay? But I just want to try to be quasi professional and attend to your reading. Okay? So there's the church. Every place there was a mound, almost every place, there's a church. And so, I think whatever the politics of religion might be, it's also true. Oops, you know what? I'm sorry. While I'm chatting, I should show you my face, shouldn't I? See what I mean? I'll get there, but clearly I don't have a handle on it yet. So, there is something about these sacred places, and I understand it because the place where I live, the place where I chose to build a house, all kinds of amazing things have happened here long before I got here. And I don't know what's going to come to pass, but while I was away, there was some excavation happening here. I'm building a garage because I need more solar panels. It's a long saga, but I couldn't hook to the grid, which was my intention. Anyway, when the excavation was done, I came home, and what I found, like Newgrange, the whole entirety of Newgrange on the outside is encased in quartz because of the vibration of the stone. And there is a gigantic vein of quartz that runs all across my property. And there's something, the man who was excavating stopped because there's a mound. I haven't touched it yet. I haven't had time because I really, I don't know what's out there. Maybe it's nothing. But he said, looks like something's there. And I said, yeah, it does, doesn't it? So that'll be the next adventure for me once I get past this, and I'll keep you posted. So, all right, let's see. Back to the reading. Okay, so, you come across the field, you see the church, you walk around the base of the mound, and there are these giant curbstones, and it's true with all of these passage tombs. Gigantic. This picture doesn't even begin to do it justice. They have carvings on them. The carvings on these curbstones were very faint, and they had been worn away over time because they're exposed to the weather. The carvings that are on the inside of the tombs are much more pronounced. So I don't have any of those to show you because I couldn't go into the tombs at Dowth. They are blocked off. But I want to show you the entryway. Look at that. So, you come around this giant hill, and it's done so artfully that you would not even know that it's man-made. It just looks like a hill, often, or maybe to my untrained eyes. So these entrances are gated, and what you're seeing is a picture that I took, sticking my hands through the gate and praying to the gods to keep me from dropping my camera, so that I could get a little bit of a shot of the entryway. And I think I have one more. Here comes one more. Look at that. I mean, one of the things I was thinking is, how in heaven's name did you get in there? You literally have to crawl on your hands and knees into the main part of the chamber. And in the passage tombs that I was in, I was trying to figure out light. I mean, it's pitch black in there, right? So they must have had some mechanism to light the chamber, but there was no evidence anywhere, and I specifically looked. There was no evidence of torchlight or soot or fire of any kind. So my mind has been intensely stimulated to, do as much reading as I can now that I'm home to learn about the thoughts. I don't know that anyone really knows, but there are lots of theories, of course, about all of this. So I'm going to show you something that blew my mind. Hang on a second. Here it is. All right. Gemini, look at that. I have never encountered something so magnificent in the way this tree grows. And I'm sorry that I didn't take, now that I'm home, I'm sorry that I didn't take more pictures, and that I just had my cell phone. Next time I go, I'm going to have to make sure I have a real camera that has some capacity, because this tree was so exuding so much energy and so beautiful. And it was growing at an angle. You can't exactly tell from this view, but it's growing at an angle, right out of the side, the back side of the passage tomb. And there's so much life, energy. It in my way of thinking, the tree was vibrating. That's how it felt to me. It was really intense. And the minute I came around the corner, you cannot see it. It's gigantic. But believe it or not, because of the angle at which it's growing, you cannot see it when you are in the entryway. When you're coming, you park your car right at the side of the road, you go through this gate, and then you're in the farmer's field, and you're walking across the field with the sheep and the cows and everything else, and just looking at this mound. And you cannot see this tree, gargantuan as it is. It still blows my mind that you can't see it. So I came around the corner, and, just the shock of seeing this incredible being, which is how it really feels to me. So the moment I laid my eyes on that, all I could think about was Gemini. I thought, based on how your readings have been, that's you. That was the expression. Out into the universe, rooted here on the earth, and clearly going deep out into the universe. And guys, I see that the stream is buffering. I hope it's not causing too much of a problem in the background. All right, let me show you one more picture. So I climbed up the hill. It's very steep. You can't tell from this picture. I climbed up the hill, and just to be with this being that was, I don't even know what to say about it other than it was electrifying. It must be hundreds of years old. And the grandeur of this creature was just breathtaking, literally. So I began to ponder the Gemini journey. And having come through the portal, Spirit now is talking to me about passage. That's the difference, okay? So now that I'm back, the language that is coming through to me, let me toggle back so you can see me. The language that's coming through to me in my live stream downloads that I get, the language has changed. It's very interesting. So Spirit's talking to me now, not about portals, about passage. And so all the readings that came out, in a sense, are about our passage through to the end of the year, coming up to the solstice. And I believe this is why my intention for our journey was diverted by Spirit, because Spirit wanted me to come to these places in order to speak to you from there about passage and about the changes that we're all undergoing. So we've been through these portals, and I'm seeing the indicator light telling me it's flashing red and orange, which I think is telling me the stream is down. I'm going to keep talking just in case that's not true. And now it's going back up. So I don't know if it's buffering. Let me look at the chat for a second, guys. Somebody tell me what's going on, will you? Are you seeing me? Hi, Spiritual Readings from Georgia. Hi, Witcher. Guys, if the stream goes down, let me know. I wish there was some way to be truly interactive. I'm going to try to manifest that. I don't know what that means in terms of technology, but I want to be able to actually see you. Just like you've been wanting to see me, I want to be with you. So, okay, you can see me. Okay, I'm going to stop perseverating about the streaming indicator and trust that things are going to go forward. So, okay, back to Gemini. Passage. I was talking about passage. And I see the emotions coming. I mean, spirit what happens is these downloads come, and there's a lot of information that goes through my mind, but also through my heart chakra so that I can understand it. I think that's how that works. And then it stimulates my heart. And then I feel emotion. So I hope you can tolerate me in real time, okay? Because I'm not going to hold it back. I just want to be um, fully who I am, right? That's what we all want. So the notion of passage is upon us. That's what Spirit wants us to know. And that's, I think, why I was sent there. And I don't know if you know the story, but I've been dreaming about this journey for a while and talking with my close friends and doing what I can do in the background to stimulate the energy. And one of the ways that I manifest is I just start doing things. It's like live stream. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. And I might make a fool of myself, but it's what is trying to come through me, so I'm going to go for it and I'll figure it out. So I was doing that with this trip, and I had this intention. And then I've been trying to sell. I had 2 houses. I've been trying to sell my other house. My kids are grown. I'm free now. Yay. And it wouldn't sell until I made this commitment. I started my YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff, right? That's how that stuff works in my life anyway. And so almost immediately, someone gifted me, somebody that I did a reading for. So if you're out there watching, you know who you are. I don't have liberty to say your name, but this is the result. That person just gifted me a fairly significant amount of money. And the first thing I did was call the airline and make the reservations. So here I find myself in these passage tombs when I expected to be standing in much different places. And I know now, because having come through the portal, all the readings are about our passage, because we are coming to the winter solstice. And that is the moment when the sun fills up the passageway so that the souls can move forward on that energy. That's what I believe. So there is more profound shift and change, and there is an experience that is open to us, I believe, in these next months as we approach the winter solstice. So there's a lottery. If you don't know, you can put your name in a lottery. I think it costs $60 to go and sit in the passageway at Newgrange. I think it lasts for 6 days around the winter solstice when the sun rises at like 9 o'clock in the morning. If it's not cloudy, so you take your chances, right? The sun fills up the entire chamber one time per year. And so my belief is that people were cremated, the remains were brought into the passage tombs. I think they were tended to and moved from these various ceremonial altar bowls. And then when, through the 4 directions, I believe, and then when the solstice was approaching, all beings, all souls would be put in the main chamber and to wait for the solstice. Because on that day, something happens. It's not just about the light coming back into the world. There is an energy passageway that opens to us. So, back to pictures, because wait till you see the cards, okay? You'll see. This just blew my mind. And Gemini, you guys are so awesome. I just, I've learned so much about people. I guess that's how I feel about it. Here you go. All right. So you're not going to see my face for a while. I'm going to keep chattering. One of my challenges is that I've been having is that I still don't know. When I see in my studio software, I see my own face, and yet it's backwards. And so it's counterintuitive. Like, how do I hold the cards up? I'm gonna try not to do that, just to see if that works out. So bear with the experiment, okay? So here's the first card. Look at that. That's just blown my mind. So I was sitting underneath the base of this tree, communing with this tree, talking about Gemini. It was chattering to me. And, not with human words. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It just was blowing my mind. And I just finally, I just threw all my things down on the ground and I just was lying down underneath this tree, staring up into the universe, thinking about you and feeling the vibration of this beautiful creature and having a few moments. I'm a Virgo, so I'm rooted into the earth. There's something that that I will never be able to ponder. And I believe when we are able to understand the energy that each of us carries, I don't have words to express it yet, but I'm learning something by doing all of these readings about the vibration. And sometimes, the goddess of alchemy comes in the card reading and wants to talk about the process that's happening through each of our individual energetic set points. So there I was, lying underneath this tree in this gorgeous afternoon, having walked all over the passage tomb, just feeling the vibration. And I just closed my eyes, and honestly, I was just pondering the energy set point of Gemini. And so eventually I thought, okay, well, let me just sit up and shuffle the cards and see what happens. And so there it is. So to have this card come out, I don't know if you can see that, so I may have to play with cards a little bit. But that clearly, especially sitting at the passage tomb, hang on, I'm shuffling through my cards to see if I can find this one. That very clearly is a card that indicates significant passage and significant change. But and most of you have probably seen that card. When you have a life, and again, remember, sitting under this tree, it's about a warrior who lived a long, long, long time through many battles and many changes. And when the last battle came, this warrior was the only survivor. And hang on, I'm going to transition back to my happy face and hold up this card so you can see it. If I can figure out where to hold it. All right. There we go. The revelation of knowledge. And that's the experience I was having. And I think that's what Spirit is talking about. So this warrior did not die. He simply transitioned inside of a life. See what I mean? It's a little wacky for me. All right. So there's elk. Elk animal medicine is all about stamina for a long journey. And standing on the shore of an ocean, it looks like an ocean, clearly you're going across. And Gemini, we know from those readings that came out over the summer, you're out there in a good way. I'm not dissing you. I'm saying, you guys gobsmack me. You're astounding. And that is the image that the spirit of this tree and the spirit of this burial mound wanted to speak with you about. That's the first card in your reading. Having transformed across many journeys, coming into a place of stamina and strength and clarity. And there's another word, and it just won't come out of me. But Spirit's saying, just show the card, they'll get it. There's something about the majesty of that animal, just like the majesty of that tree. So you've traveled so far, and I think that's your set point. You're just traveling in this mystical way that, quite frankly, I don't think I can imagine. I can't, having done your readings, I have my own little mystical life that goes on, but, essentially I'm an earth sign, I'm mutable. I want to be a hermit and live in the woods by myself, and that's sort of that whole Virgo thing about needing to be rooted and needing grounding and security and blah, blah, all that stuff, right? That is my journey and my challenge in some ways. And then I see folks like you, and it blows my mind. So Spirit wants to talk to you about the revelation of this knowledge And I believe it's about the knowledge that happened over the summer when you went, straight out into the mind of the universe. And those of you who have not seen those videos on my channel, I'm urging you to watch that. Go and look. Probably May, June, July, maybe August. All right. So that's the theme that we're going to be talking about. So let me just give me a second. I'm going to toggle down. There we go. No, wrong one. Sorry. That's you. Okay? There you are. This is a transformative story. I wish, you know what? I think there's probably a way for me to show two pictures at once. I haven't figured that out yet. So let me toggle back and forth, okay? That is, oh, I'm sorry, I hit it backwards. All right, so there's you, okay? That's the spirit message on top. That's your energy underneath. It's literal transformation. This warrior, all right, let me go back to my face. Hang on. So this warrior had a reincarnation experience in his lifetime. He did not pass away. He literally began to shapeshift into the form of this elk in order to have stamina for the new journey that was coming to him. That's the story of that card. And look, that card is the augury of skill. That's literally a prophecy. It is clearly about a new journey. It's a numeral 1 card, okay? So you're sending your intentions out into the world because you have had an experience of passage. The other thing, just divert for just a second, right? So this has been, all of this knowledge has been revealed to you because of this passage that you have had. And look at the sun, okay? And look, a new life, the augury of skill, having been transformed. And it's funny because now I'm seeing the passage tombs. Now that I've been to these places, now I understand the cards in a way that's deeper because I look at the images and they actually relate to something real now. It's really fascinating, kind of giving me a chill. So there we are. There's the mound. There's the energy coming out the top. See? And that's you. That's your intention. Okay, I still haven't learned this thing about it's backwards. So there's your intention and your ability and your strength. What you can manifest is what's coming through to me and how you send it out into the world. A prophecy about this new skill set because you've crossed over and you are preparing for more passage when the winter solstice comes. That's what I believe. Look at that. Amazing. Okay. So here's the first card on the human walk. Let me see if I can find the picture and show you because I want you to see how they came out. There's something that happens. I still haven't figured it out. Here we go. Let me show you. Hang on. There. Okay. So, all of these cards, I was sitting there having this conversation with this tree, and the cards just kind of kept jumping out. I was just shuffling the deck and having this conversation about passage and what passage means. So you're going to, everybody's going to get bored because I'm going to talk about that a lot for the next couple of months probably. So where are we? And where are we going, right? Some of the most common questions we ask all the time. So that's the judgment of skill. So the first place that we're going is into our own deep pondering about the experience that we have as human beings. And look, part of what I love about this card is to look at this woman. So, female energy, fertility. Beautiful male energy to start the reading. Gorgeous intention and action and stamina. And then this beautiful garden of feminine energy. there to blend and bring these things into fruition. And it's funny because what's coming into me in this moment is it's like being pregnant, right? It takes 9 months to gestate a new life. It's going to take some time, is what Spirit's telling me. And in those months, I'm sorry, I'm getting a download, so I'm just going to speak it out, okay? So in those months, this is what women do, right? We have a life growing inside of us. We're pondering, we're connecting with that, we're thinking about it. And she's sitting in this beautiful, again, water, I love that. She's sitting in this beautiful place, pondering the skills that she has to go forward and the place that she's been, the battles and the journeys. And she's just sitting in this beautiful place, rested, calm, happy, and she's there to gather some water, some life energy. So, in these moments coming up to the solstice, I believe this is sort of a directive. Just go deep inside and just be with yourself and rest in the beautiful places that exist inside of you, because there is a very profound, journey coming. Okay. So here's the next card. I'm going to transition back because I want to show you the picture first. Okay. You ready? Here it comes. Look at that. Gemini. You know, I don't think I have any Gemini friends at this point, just out of circumstances, right? I'm going to go seek out a Gemini and ask that person to just come be in my house. Because look at that. The soul. I should have had a videotape of me. It would probably be hilarious. I was just sitting there weeping. Literally, when these cards were coming out. Because of the intensity of the beauty of the message. All right. So, let me see if I can figure out how to hold this up. There it is. Okay. The soul. Look. A brand new journey. Right. There's something, I hope you guys can explain it to me. There's something about Gemini that I need to understand because your readings are always so profound. So, here we are as human beings, just like this guy. Okay? Look at that. And this card, actually, it's like that, right? That's how they're lined up. You're continuing to go really deep, Gemini, through the end of the year. And here we are, slumbering, philosophically speaking, in our human form. And during these months, our soul rises, goes through the portals, out for its own journey. And I know we talked about that. It's still going on. So going through to the end of the year, give yourself permission to know that this is real. Whatever is happening for you on the inside, whatever your spiritual inklings are, if you feel restless, frustrated with your human life, with your human form, understand you are literally in transition and you are out traveling in a way that is profound. And trust yourself because clearly you have the stamina to do it twice, right? Aligned with each other, sitting on top of each other on my desktop here. Okay? So, wow. All right, here's the next card. You're going to love this. Hang on, I got to move my screen again. Look. Look at that. I'm just so excited about the Gemini story this month. A new adventure. Not just an adventure. Do you see that number 7? This means, between 1 to 10, right? And then we go into the royal suit of cards. You have progressed really far, Gemini. You have everything you need. Just like this little mouse, sitting with its abundance in a field of wheat, rubbing its little hands together. Look how excited it looks. It's going. It's going to the places where you go, where nobody else can go, as far as I can tell. You and Pisces. You and Pisces always blow my mind. All right, so here's the bridge. All right, let me see if I can go back, toggle back to the pictures because I want to see. I want to make sure I give you the opportunity to see them as they were pulled, okay, from the tree. So let's see. Here we go. Let me just toggle it for you. Look at that. The warrior of skill. So exactly what I was just saying. All right, we have the adventure of skill, and then comes the warrior of skill. Supporting each other. Clearly, somebody's calling me. Clearly, a movement of energy, right? I mean, it might seem ridiculous that I'm saying out loud, but I want to make sure to say it. I'm going to toggle back, okay? So you see, the adventure of skill. That's the last card on the human walk. Your energy is flowing in a way that's really beautiful. And here's the bridge card. This is your new form of warriorship. Remember that warrior who lived a long time and just began to shapeshift because of the stamina that existed inside of him and things that's the revelation of knowledge. So now with that knowledge, you have this skill set that is fairly well advanced and you have everything you need to go forward. And so now in this moment, this warrior also has no weapons. What he does have is magic in his hands. He's holding his power and he has the means to move forward. So what he does is he waits. And I love this illustration because it looks a little bit like Twilight. It's sort of mystical, a little sort of half across the other side. So he's here in this realm and he's just existing in himself, solid in the knowledge of who he is. And he waits for divine inspiration. And when that moment comes, he jumps on that white horse, meaning purity of intention and action, and he just rides straight into it. And so that's the message that Spirit wants to be very clear with you about. The way you are in passage, and what that means for you, and the depth of it is so profound. And I always say this, so I just want to remember. Don't think because you're looking at the image of a little mouse that there's a lack of power there. Clearly there is not. In any way, shape, or form. It's about the newness of this adventure, taking your skills and your abilities and being able, it's more to me, what's coming through, it's more about sort of that shape-shifting experience in order to transform inside of a lifetime. Many of us do it. I had to do it. I had to leave all of me behind in order to become who I am. Because the first part of my journey was about being who everybody else thought I was, right? You're born into a family, you are given a name, you come up within some sort of cultural framework, etc., etc., right? I happen to be here in female form. All of those things informed other people about who I was, and most of it was incorrect. So I had to claim myself at some point, and I believe that's the passage that you are going through. That's what my heart tells me. We'll see as the months roll forward. Okay, so here comes the first card on the spirit journey. More skill. So we have the warrior of skill, the adventurer of skill, and the foundation. So again, this is a number 6 card. You're more than halfway through this journey. You are working with the passion inside of you that creates things made of iron. Think about that for a moment. And these are These monolithic tombs are so old that these kinds of crafts and skills, I think that's part of why these images are coming out. There are a lot of ways the cards can express these things, but it's significant. I've learned the significance of the actual image that's on the card just by doing the readings, okay? So this person has the tools they need. Again, gorgeous male energy. And look, naked from the waist up. It's not just about he has no shirt. He's open. He has evolved to the point where he does not need to have self-protection because of the strength that he holds inside of himself. And from that place, with his will center and his heart center, his throat center, all open, fully engaged in the act of creating something new. Whatever that might be. And, hopefully, I think and I hope we all know that it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it is that you are meant to create, that is what you should focus on. Don't try to be like somebody else. Be who you are. Okay. Look at that. That's the next card on the spirit line. That's a tiny picture. I don't know why some of them turned out so tiny and some didn't. So I'm going to hold the card up for you. Just give me a second to toggle back, okay? That's a major arcana card. It is the spinner. I don't know how I do it, but there's a way to, when you're toggling through these pictures, I must be touching it the wrong way and it changes the order, so then I have to go look at it. So sorry about that. All right, that's the spinner of growth. So this foundation that you have, based on all this passion and these transitions that you've made and the passage that you are coming through, begins on a spiritual level to stimulate your growth and the growth of the seeds that this spiritual endeavor puts out into the world that we live in. And sorry, I'm getting choked up, so I always have to take a breath. Sitting under that tree. Can you imagine when this card came out? So this tree, I'm just going to remind you. I know you know, but I'm just going to remind you. In fact, let me see if I can toggle back to that picture so you can see it. Okay, this beautiful tree growing out at almost a 45-degree angle. It's just mind-blowing. Growing out of this passage tomb. Vaulting itself into the sky. And that's why it reminded me of you. Okay. It tells a story. The energy coming off this tree tells a story. And in a way, it's the story of the things that have transpired inside this passage tomb and the energy and the life that still resides there, waiting for us to understand. And there we were. Me and your energy and this tree telling the story of Gemini. I will be always, for the rest of my entire life, grateful to that tree for this experience. Okay, so let's see. One more toggle. Two more. Hang on a sec. Last card on the spirit realm. All right. Oh gosh, I got them all messed up again. There we go. Look, the triple goddess. So the spinner of growth, the foundation of skill, the spinner of growth, and the triple goddess. Okay? That is the renewer. It's a major arcana card. It's the last card on the spirit walk. And the full name of the card is the renewer of growth. So, there was something really deep going on. And that tree is literally rooted into the passage tomb. And I have a suspicion that anyone that walks by that wants some information, all they have to do is sit down and have a conversation with that tree. So, the sacred cauldron, out of which all this knowledge comes, into which we put our hopes and our dreams and our fears, because the flowers underneath are elderflowers. It's about healing. These flowers have been used for thousands of years for healing. Okay? And I loved that this card came out. I was, there was a part of me that really wanted to see something like this because of the readings that have come out for you over the summer and the depth and how far out you went. And I think part of why it brings to me so much inspiration and so much love and emotion is because let's see, what's the right word for it? I experience astral travel. I don't have any control over it. It just happens. So sometimes it happens, most of the time it doesn't. But I understand the experience of going so far into the mind of the universe. And there's a stillness and a quiet there. And there is a feeling of renewal that comes. And it's very healing because we get to really, well, for me, I get to be in touch with a certain type of energy that I'm not able to touch while I'm here on the earth most days. Okay? So beautiful. A beautiful passage filled with all of this new adventure, having transformed inside this lifetime, building this beautiful skill set, and now poised to send the seeds of the work that you have done, the evolutionary work that you have done inside this lifetime because of your stamina and your dedication. The moment is here when you can send the seeds of that energetically out into this world. And I am really talking in a way that's very literal, and I want to be clear about that. Don't doubt for a moment that you have the capacity to do that. You literally do. And for me, those kind of things happen very quietly. I don't talk about it, I just do it. Send some energy out from yourself. Play with that experience. See what happens. It's kind of magical. All right, so here's the outcome card, guys. Check it out. Look at that. Okay? That is astoundingly beautiful. That is another prophecy, another augury about your journey and the way in which you travel forward after all these things have been revealed to you because of the journey that you've been on, certainly the entire year, and through these dual set of eclipses that we've had this year, and all of the openings that apparently, Gemini, you have the ability to have taken advantage of those types of energy that came through when those portals opened. So that is the augury of battle. Okay? You see that? All the transformation. When you see these purple blue clothing, garments, it's about transformation. And look at the purity in which you stand. And again, beautiful male energy. Look how gorgeous that is. Intention going forward. And again, I love that we're seeing this image. Here's here's the outcome. All right, so remember this. That's you in the beginning, sending out your intentions in this new way. So this is where you start. The augury of skill. See the cities? See that? It's mind-blowing to me. Look, that's the outcome. There you are. Talk about passage. I don't understand how there could be a passage that could be more profound than this, given that this is where you started. Literal transformation, literal passage, sitting at the passage tomb with this incredible being, and all of the history there. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful message. Okay, so hang on a second because now I have to toggle back to YouTube so I can see your comments. because I'm getting better at this, but I typically go overtime. That's one of the reasons I was doing the videos rather than live stream. It wasn't just about technology. That was a big part of it, but I thought, boy, I could talk for hours, and people don't have time for that. So, yeah, people are saying it's nice to see me finally. I can't remember if I said this, but it's not about me. I really had a lot of guidance about don't show your face. It's about the messages. It's about the cards, right? I'm just, Joni Mitchell once said, I'm just the chirp. That's it. I've been blessed in ways that are extreme. And I've been waiting a long time, my own passage, my own preparation, to be able to do this. And I was really glad to have that constraint, what felt like a little bit of a constraint in the beginning, because it's not about ego. And so it was good for me. And, as a Virgo who likes to hide in the woods, I sort of enjoyed that. So now I'm coming out of the closet, and certainly you are. So we're right at 3 o'clock. Does anybody have any questions? I'm looking at the chat stream. So if you have questions, throw them on there. Allie, you're having, Allie, thank you. I almost forgot. I'm going to keep talking. The next stream isn't until 4. So if anybody has to go, I'm sending you a hug and a kiss. Thanks for being here. There's a rune that came out. One of the only readings that a rune, the bag of runes was with me. Hang on. Let me toggle back. I'll show you the picture. And Allie, basically the message in the rune is, yes, a new life. New things are happening. Transition, passage. It's not easy. I'm not here to tell you it's going to be easy. I'm just here, hopefully, to acknowledge what you already know inside of you in order to give it some credence, so to speak. Because for some reason in our human condition, sometimes it's easier to believe things when somebody else says it. I don't know if you go through that or if it's just my Virgo trial, so to speak. So let me transition back so you can look at this card for a minute while I look for this picture. So a rune came out, and I believe there's a picture of it here. Yes, there it is. Okay, here it comes, Allie. Hang on. You will have your answer, okay? Look at that. And I'm going to read to you from the book. Okay. This is about defense and avertive powers. And the tree is the yew tree. And I haven't looked it up, but I wonder if that's what that tree is. I have no idea. All right, so I'm going to read to you from the book, okay? It says, as we are tested, we fund the power to avert blockages and defeat. At the same time, we develop inside ourselves an aversion to the conduct that creates stress in our lives. So Allie, Spirit's telling me to pause for you. As we develop and we shift and change and we grow into deeper levels of maturity, in part, we don't attract it to ourselves. And when those things, difficult things happen, there's a different way that we can respond. There's a difference between response and reaction. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So if there appears to be an obstacle in your path, consider that even a delay may prove beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward, for this is not a time or a situation in which you can make your influence felt. Because remember, you're in passage. It's a quiet time. There's a lot going on. But it's not, to my way of thinking, it's really deeply inside of you and on the spiritual realm. There's profound growth and shift and change happening. Patience is the counsel of this room. Nothing hectic. Do not act needy. Do not lust after a desired outcome. This rune speaks to the difficulties that can arise at the beginning of a new life. And clearly that's where you are. Often this rune announces a time of waiting for spring to fill up with water, for offspring, to fill up with water, for fruit to ripen on the bough. So it's that kind of a time. All right? And remember, where Spirit's telling me, these are the moments that we are moving toward the passage of the winter solstice. It is a time for quiet. So back to the book. Perseverance and foresight are called for here. The ability to foresee consequences before you act is a mark of the profound person. Avert anticipated difficulties through right action is the counsel of this rune. And yet, even more than we are doers, we are deciders. And the decision is clear. When the decision is clear, the doing becomes effortless. For then the universe supports and empowers our action. And, I don't know about you guys, but it's always true for me. Once I set the intention, and I'm very clear inside of myself, things begin to unfold. And, all of this information that's out there about the law of attraction, that's what it's talking about. Just draw it to yourself. Step in. Start the journey. Make the decision. And the pathway opens before you, in my experience. So receiving this rune means that you are put on notice that through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. Don't you hate that message? I hate hearing that stuff sometimes. So this may well be a trying time. Certainly it is a meaningful one. So set your house in order and tend to business. Be clear and wait on the will of heaven. Wow. That's that's amazing, isn't it? And that's what it was like. Hang on, I'm going to toggle back so I can talk to you. Okay, there we go. So, it was almost, I felt as though I was literally in a conduit to heaven, or whatever words you want to put on that experience. Okay, I've got to move my stream studio so I can see the chat. There we are. So, I don't know, Allie, does that make you feel any better? You lose hope. I know, it's hard, isn't it? I've been through a lot in my life, and now at this point, not that all my battles are behind me, they're not. Things happen every day. And it's hope, right? I think it's not so much about having hope. What the message is, it's about having intention and understanding that you're in passage. And a lot of people, a lot of the things that I chat with people about are exactly what Allie's talking about. Hi, David from North Dublin. Good to have you here. It was so wonderful to be in Ireland. So, I'm looking, I'm just reading your messages, guys. I want to try really hard not to be in the business of spewing out platitudes and things. And really, all I can talk about is my own experience. I believe when we begin to take hold of ourselves and understand that we are in a journey, then some of the things that happen along the way, it's easier to put them in perspective. Because, a lot of people come to me for readings and they're talking about, I'm stuck and I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do and I don't know how to move forward. And, often the message that comes out is, you're standing in exactly the right place. You're meant to have this peace. It's going to teach you something. And when you're in passage, you're in passage. You're traveling very, very deeply. So go deep inside. Be with yourself. Support yourself as much as you can and continue on your journey. And know that I believe if you hold fast to those things that are true inside of you and your dreams, they will evolve because you will attract it to you. It certainly was true for me. And I'm here to tell you, it took me 40 years. There's a very long journey in my background. I need a lot of teaching. I was very slow to develop, like the ugly duckling. It just took me time, and I needed it. And in those days, I was often very impatient And now, of course, with hindsight, I look back and I think, well, of course, all of those things that I went through prepared me for this moment that I'm in right now with you. Because I had to have my trials and tribulations. I had to be able to understand what other people go through. I had to go through it first. That's how I believe. That might be psychobabble, but that's how I look at it. So let's see. Allie, you're saying no. I don't know what you're saying no to. Um, Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Yeah. It's hard. Being human is not an easy task, is it? And I think part of it is that separation that we feel from our spirit being, right? We walk with these two things inside of us, at least in my experience. I've been aware for many, many, many years that there's this human existence and there's something else that happens. And at some point, I think we're meant to blend all those things together. And I believe in some way that's what your passage is about for the Gemini people, because the cards are always so profound. And it's always about deep, deep connection with the universe and the spirit realm. And so you walk through this earth with that part of you, probably the antenna, up. And that may be particularly painful. It was for me for a long time. So, you know, anybody who wants some more discussion, you want to have a reading or whatever, just send me an email. All the information's there on these videos, okay? I'd be happy to help you do some exploring into your own set of circumstances if that would be helpful to you. So let's see. Hi, Lorraine. Ellie, you're saying that you're slow. You know what? Don't do that to yourself. Don't just be in your life. Because I will tell you now again with hindsight. I wish I would have had the capacity to enjoy the journey that I was on. But because I didn't know and because I wasn't able to really trust it, it sucked some of the juice out of it for me, I think. So if at all possible, you can be joyful as you're traveling, as you're having this passage experience. I know hard things happen and we can't be joyful in every moment. It's not appropriate on some level, maybe, unless you continue to express yourself in ways that are socially acceptable. There's I guess what Spirit's saying is coming through is that I'm hearing words about the joy of the journey, to understand that there is a journey, there is a passage taking place, and to take some joy from that and allow it to illuminate. That's the word that's coming. Allow that to illuminate your life, illuminate your thought process, even in moments of difficulty. And then, of course, like everybody has to do, seek out some guidance where you can and when you can, and some support, because we all need that. So, okay. Well, it's almost quarter after, so I want to be respectful of your time. Thanks again so much for being here. And, do me a favor. This will post to a video. I would like some feedback about if you like this type of card reading going forward. There's things about it that I love. There's things about it that I'm not comfortable with clearly yet, but I have an inkling that Spirit pushed me to do this because it's a way for us to be together. I wish I could hear your voices. You have no idea. So I'm wondering how the experience is for you. Give me a little bit of feedback. Be nice. I know that my management of the stream is not far from perfect yet, but that will come over time. I have no doubt about that. I'm just sort of wondering about the general experience, okay? So guys, I'm giving you a big hug and a kiss. I'm going to sign off because I have to prepare for the Sag reading that's coming in 45 minutes. All right, I've got to load my pictures and stuff. So thank you so much for being here with me. It means a lot to me that you're here while I am in the process of my own passage and crossing over this barrier for myself. And, when you have hard times and you're feeling down, just think about me making a fool of myself on YouTube, and that should bring you a smile. Okay? Mwah. Bye, guys. I'm signing off. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.